This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission 250.
A mentally unstable veteran works as a nighttime taxi driver in New York City, where the perceived decadence and sleaze fuels his urges for violent action by attempting to liberate a presidential campaign worker and an underage prostitute.
Come on, let's all get happy.
Let's be happy.
All do this.
This is fun. Yeah. I like watching movies that are made for fun. Movies are always made for entertainment. Mission 250 Filmcasts. I'm Denny.
Yeah, I'm John.
And TC.
How you guys holding up? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're all losing it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little loopy.
Yeah. We're watching the best movies ever made, and this week it is number 80. It is the 1976 movie Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese himself. It's my turn to go first, you guys.
Yep.
I've never wanted more to pass a movie on to somebody else. Either one of you want to take my turn?
No,
Oh, really?
Not even in the
John, you want
slightest
to
bit.
go?
Really? Not really. I mean, I'm not going to be enthusiastic.
I got a
but
lot to say about this movie.
Are you unhappy
right.
about it?
No, I love this movie. This movie's fucking amazing.
Well, it's good to go with enthusiasm then, right off the bat.
Okay. This movie makes me really sad. I think this is like one of the best representations of somebody losing their mind. I only have two problems with this movie, and I'll say them out front because this movie I think is close to fucking perfect. The last minute of the movie I have problems with, and the fact that the story is so unhinged just like leaves me unsatisfied in a little bit of ways. Like I don't totally understand this character, but I don't know. There's something about the feeling of this movie that is so unrelenting from the beginning to the end that is just like, it's insane how they got this feeling to last throughout an entire movie. Like it's, I don't know how to like describe it really. Like the feeling, most movies I like to talk about how they structure it in the story and stuff like that. But like this movie is just like a sad floating feeling of like misery and loneliness the entire time.
And just downhill. It's just downhill all the way.
And it's fucking amazing how they do it. Like you could pick it apart technically. Like the cinematography is awesome. The editing is fucking amazing. The acting is amazing. The writing is amazing. The dialogue is like nearly perfect. There are a couple lines. There's questionable lines, but you can explain it away with the characters. There's nothing bad to say about this movie except for that it makes you feel like shit after you watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did you want to skip your turn so badly?
I don't know, dude. This movie makes me upset.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Sorry, you're gonna have to speak sooner or later.
It makes sense, dude. I remember when we got to the end, I was just like, oh boy, that's what I was doing. The ending.
This is one of the best. So my biggest problem with the movie is, and I'm gonna rant positively about it afterwards. But like the biggest problem with the movie, I think, is that it should end when they show the newspaper clippings on the wall. If they showed that and then ended the movie, that would be perfect. It'd be perfect. But then they go on for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes longer to show him talking to his cab friends for whatever reason. And then Sybil Shepherd loves him now? That's fucking stupid. That's really dumb.
Right, the whole world does.
Yeah.
The whole world does. You
and
got away with
the
everything.
screenplay even, because she says, like, they cut some things out. And I don't know if they edited it out or if it's just they didn't do it from what was in the screenplay. But she says, oh, so can I see you sometime?
And he just drives away.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
And then drives away.
Yeah.
Because even she likes him at the end. Everybody likes him at the end.
Well, it makes zero sense from her perspective, whether he's a hero or not, that after sort of what he put her through, that she's all right now.
But it makes him like this. It turns the movie into like a portrait of a suffering person into like a hero story where he's actually a hero, where you might want to be him, which is totally the wrong message
which is weird.
From the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I know. Agreed.
But the rest
Some
of
people
it,
like even thought that, I mean, they even had it speculated, but this was shot down by the people who actually made the movie, that this was a fantasy sequence at the end because it seemed so incongruent. But nope, that's the way it was written.
Nope, the whole point, I can tell you now, from Scorsese and Paul Schrader, who wrote the screenplay, the reason they ended it that way was that he was over her because he knew his new passion now was murder. And the whole reason, there's like an edit towards the end where he's looking in the back seat, being paranoid about who is actually in the back seat, to the point where he didn't even care who was in the back seat now. He's just a violent person now. Right. And there's like a sound cue where it goes like
unhinged.
And it's
really?
It's a pretty good sounding.
I didn't get that. I didn't know.
You don't get it when you watch it. You have to be told it, which makes it not a great ending, I don't think.
Right. And I don't even get that necessarily. I don't know. There were other things that I read from the script. So one interesting feature on the film, I don't know if you guys got, in the DVD that I got, there was this jump to the screenplay feature. which was kind of cool.
Ah.
So you could push a button at any time and jump right to the same point in the screenplay as on the film and switch back and
The
forth.
screenplay was amazing. The special features showed it a couple times, and the screenplay would actually describe the shot they wanted.
I know, like that. And that
shit.
sort of got me thinking, like, all the time that we give directors and cinematographers too a lot of credit. I don't know how often we really talk about the screenwriters because
We do a lot.
I mean, we talk about the dialogue, but I don't know, like, not having known the screenwriter within the whole screenplay, there's not a lot of descriptions of the camera shots, but that amazing sequence at the end,
Top down, the top down shot. Oh my God.
That's described in the screenplay point for point.
It says like top down slow motion pan out of the. So did you see how they actually got that shot, John?
Oh, I read on the wiki page that it took like 3 months to set up because they had to like take out the ceilings.
I'll send you guys pictures right now on my phone.
Yeah, you need to tweet those, put those on. Yeah.
I took pictures of the making of this movie. The way they made this movie it's crazy. So the first picture I just sent you guys is a picture. So they filmed that last scene in an abandoned New York apartment. And they had, while they were shooting there, they had a guy working for 3 months to dig out portions of the floor for a tracking shot where they could point a camera through the fucking floor for that one shot.
Wow.
3 months of work for 10 seconds of this movie. But it is like the ending of the movie during the most exciting, crazy, one of the craziest parts of any movie I've ever seen. That ending part is just, it's a cap on one of the...
When he shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
When he shoots him in the face, like...
When she screams,
Jesus.
"Don't shoot him," and he fucking blows his head off.
Know.
I mean, it's crazy violent. We were talking, what was it? Full Metal Jacket, we were talking about like the craziest blow behind the head type of shot where like the blood against the wall.
That was pretty
equivalent.
Yeah,
right?
That
pretty
was
equivalent.
Nasty. Yep.
And I got a lot of information on how they shot that stuff too. Dick Smith, who did the special effects on The Exorcist, did the makeup in this movie. He's like one of the most iconic, makeup artists of all time. Did this movie, which
really interesting. And the guy who did the titles also did The Exorcist front titles.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. The front titles? What do you, like the shots?
The title shot. He did all the title sequence, like with the blurring of the colors of New York and the fonts and all that stuff. They put the actor's name and stuff like that. Whole sequence was, what's his name? He also did it for Raging Bull. He did it for Star Wars. Dan Perry.
Shit.
He went on to design the opening titles for Star Wars and Raging Bull.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of people behind the scenes that are pretty famous. They did this movie.
Yeah, sorry, we keep interrupting each other with stories, and so I don't get. You were going on about the prep for the shot, though.
Yeah, so I sent you. Did you guys get my text message?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, like they dug a hole in the fucking ground on the floor above, and they have like a
dolly.
dolly. He's laying down face down on this little track with a hole beneath him to get that tracking shot. There's too much to say about this movie. I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to watch. I was a little hungover. I mean, per usual.
Have you seen this before, TC?
I have, though, luckily. And that's probably why I didn't really get affected by it, because I already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
There were those moments that I always have when I'm rewatching a movie. I'm like, oh, right. He goes psycho, like, right now. You know what I mean? Like he's walking back in. He's like, "You fucking bitch, fuck you." And I'm like, oh, boy.
You're like, oh, geez.
And he does that. Yeah, he really, I mean, that shit, that's someone
so
losing
realistic.
their shit. Yeah, right. And then the fucking, that sequence of him in the house where he's like, "No more pills, no more nothing. My fucking muscles gotta be tight."
And he's burning his hand in the stove.
He's burning his hand on the stove.
Jesus, dude.
Jesus
Not the way to
Christ.
get healthy.
Talk about losing it.
And there's scenes this time watching it, this movie's always confusing, and it still is, but there are scenes I tried to figure out if I could clarify by paying attention to the more boring scenes in the movie. But when he pulls the wizard out, the Peter Boyle character out, and tries to he asks him for help, basically.
Yeah.
That scene, I never really listened to the dialogue watching it before because I have no idea why, but that scene is fucking amazing because he's pretty much asking the only person he knows that might be able to help him for help. And the wizard is just a fucking idiot. What he says is stupid, and the Travis character just knows. He's like, that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And he's like, what do I know, dude? I'm a fucking cab driver. And you're like, well, he's fucked.
Right.
He's totally fucked. He has no one to talk to. He's losing his mind. He knows it.
And everyone else is like, I don't know what to tell you, bud.
Yeah, and no one cares. No one takes him seriously.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, yeah, I guess you're fucked. He tries to ride it out. And then there's just the point in the movie where he's like, and then one day it switches. One day becomes the day where it changes. And then he buys the guns and just goes full on fucking crazy. And you're like it's a weird movie because it's really hard to relate to in terms of just going completely insane.
It is. And that's what And the movie leaves, I don't know, there's a little bit more background in the script in terms of how he's a Vietnam vet.
That's,
they
dude, I was
detail
going to
that a
say,
little more.
this is like the best Vietnam vet movie, or best Vietnam movie, because like this is what happens to be, like most Vietnam movies are about people at war. This movie mentions he's a vet. The entire thing is about how he's fucked up from being a vet, and they barely talk about it.
They really don't. It's not just, we don't even know. And even in the script, it's not clear that where.
Dude, he has scars on his head. He has scars on his back.
I know. Right.
He got injured.
So
in
bad
Vietnam.
things happen. Yeah. And he may have been pretty weird to begin with. We don't know. I mean, he's really.
He went there young. He definitely went there young, right?
Yeah. But
So-
I think that's kind of what, again, is they just show how like out of touch he is with people, like that he takes her.
He
to a
didn't
porno
get it.
film.
He didn't get through school. He went straight to Vietnam, and then he came back, and he had no friends because he's a fucking vet, and no one liked vets
That's
back
gnarly.
And so he basically, the nightlife was his life, and so he wants to impress a girl. He's going to take her
because he couldn't sleep. The whole thing is like he can't sleep because he has fucking terrible nightmares from the war, which they don't even touch on except for at the beginning where he's just like, I can't sleep, so I drive around at night. I might as well get paid for it.
But they give you no indication as to why. You have to sort of, the only thing I saw were, I saw the scars.
100% because he's a vet.
No, I know. But they don't, you are left to piece that together yourself for the most part. You get to know he was a Marine. You don't know that he was in Vietnam.
No, dude. Disagreed. I mean, this movie came out in 76. It takes place in 73. He's 26 years old. He talks about being a Marine. He is a vet. That's
right, but they don't say it. They don't say Vietnam, I don't think, at all.
But they give you enough information to make that a definite
The script actually
plot point.
does. The script actually talks about Vietnam, and when he's buying the guns from the gun seller guy, they actually talk about it in more detail, and he just talks about how he was in one hospital after another.
Oh shit!
But they don't do that in the film, and I wouldn't have necessarily put it all together because I don't understand. And he gives no indication of where his where this desire for violence comes from.
Dude, in the beginning, so John disagreed.
Right.
The first, when he's interviewing to be a cab driver at the very beginning, he talks to the guy about how he's a Marine. And the guy's like, I'm a Marine too. And they like kind of
They have a
measure each
weird
other
moment,
up.
don't they?
Yeah, they do. They're
It's
like, we're both Marines. I'll give you a job.
What's
He
his
says
name
he's a
there?
Marine.
Doesn't
That
De
doesn't
Niro
mean
does
all-
not believe him. I don't
So
think.
just because you're a Marine doesn't mean you're a psychopath, even back then.
No, that's I
right.
agree, but it does mean
true.
that you went through some shit. Probably, well, if you're in Vietnam
Maybe.
as a Marine, you saw action.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
I don't know.
maybe.
Jenny,
Could've
I'm telling you, I
posted
didn't
somewhere.
put that together
Okay, sorry,
until I read it in
sorry.
the script.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
me
it's
either.
there. Is all I'm saying. It's definitely there. I'm not making it up.
But yeah, I didn't necessarily put that together. So again, I
Sorry,
think
John.
that's
Sorry.
No, it's okay, dude. It's all right. We're all edgy.
We're
Yeah.
all like, this fucking
Jesus,
movie didn't
right.
help, dude.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We
Sorry.
made it worse.
Yeah.
No, that's what, again, and to some extent, I wish, I don't know, I do wish this film would try more to try to understand him. Maybe he's not understandable.
I think
But
that's the point. I've after watching
and
this
maybe
movie
that's
like
the
8
point.
times, I think that's
Yeah.
the only way to take away from the like.
and if that's the point,
Yeah, I
again,
agree.
that if I were to criticize it, I would want to know more. I would want to understand this more.
Totally agree. Yeah.
And
It's the idea though that you can't understand people when they're that lost.
Exactly.
yeah, I know. And if that's the case, that you're right. So that's kind of the point. And so it becomes more like, well, it's kind of like it's more of a journalistic kind of thing, or I don't know what you're saying. It's a documentary-ish kind of like, you're just like, well, we're not really going
You're
to
just watching.
tell you
Yeah.
what's going on or really give people a sense of
But hey,
motives,
this happens. No one knows why it happens, but hey,
Right.
this
Right.
shit
Oh,
happens.
look, it's
a croc. It's a croc. Right? It's a crocodile. Look at him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going in. He's going back in. Oh,
Why is he so full of deer? I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
why
fucking
is he
watch it.
so angry? This guy, he just met this girl once.
Here we
Right for
see
porno. What would
the
you think was gonna
potential
happen?
killer shaving his head to create a mohawk, which is,
Kind of looked badass though at the end there.
with the
Yeah.
mohawk? Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, the mohawk looked badass. Yeah.
This
Apparently-
is pre-punk rock, 1976.
Yeah, that was apparently like, this was from the Wikipedia page, that when he decides to assassinate the senator.
Is that what he was doing? Can we talk about that? Is that what he's doing? In
Yeah,
that
that's what he's
scene?
trying to do.
He's
He
trying to
failed
assassinate the
miserably.
senator.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there. He's decided the senator's his target. So he's planning to assassinate the senator. And
I'm very
he had,
confused by that
And the
scene.
script is very clear about that too.
Okay.
In the script, he has like the talking points of the center and everything. I mean, he's going in there. He's reaching for his gun.
Does he
What's
not?
he going to do?
Does he? Well, I don't know. Shoot his,
What's he gonna
his
do there?
bodyguard? Shoot the guy that works for the Secret Service?
Right.
No,
the
he was
Secret
going
Service guy.
to make an assassination attempt.
Yeah, I thought it was. Dude, he had a thing against the Secret Service guy. I
What?
think.
No. What? No, man. No. He's
No?
going after the senator.
Why, John? Why?
Why is he going after anybody? I mean, he can make some more sense about the pimp, right? Why is he going to kill the Secret Service guy? He's got something against the Secret Service guy? No. He's and you can think of it
what do you
in
mean?
his
What do you
confused
mean? You're pushing it away as if there's no reason for the Secret Service guy. There's no reason for the senator. He listens to the senator, and the senator.
Yes, but the senator is so. And again, we're given very little motive for what he's going to do. Why he would kill the Secret Service guy or the senator. In the script, he's got like tour dates and everything for that senator specifically.
Oh, really?
It's made and that's like on his walls and stuff. So it's made pretty clear. And the script says he's going to kill the senator.
Huh.
Now, my thought was just because it was, I think, in sort of, and again, we're not given much insight into his thinking, but in his confused mindset, he's thinking that this is somehow she's enthralled to this senator, just like Foster's character is enthralled to her pimp. And he's seeing similarities there.
They did not pull that off in the movie, I don't think.
This woman that's like rejected him, but he's thinking that maybe it's because it's the senator that's clouding her vision of him, right? I don't know.
I thought it was the guy that she worked with, because that's the way the movie makes it seem. It was the fucking
right. The Albert Brooks,
By the way, that's Albert Brooks.
I know.
Did you recognize him?
I knew the name, but because he's the same kind of.
I recognize it as someone I knew, but I didn't like put it.
He's the same friendly, whiny, intellectual character he always plays.
I saw him in the making of, and I was like, wait a minute, you're the guy that hits on fucking what's her name in this movie? He looks pretty young.
He does, but he plays that same character all the time, and it's lovable. With the exception of, I don't know if you've seen Drive.
Oh yeah.
In Drive, he was chilling.
Yep, great.
He was so good in Drive. But in the script too, again, they make it be more like it's a burly guy that basically like twists his arm behind his Robert's back, character's back, Travis's back, and pushes him right out. and I think that's like the point of where he also then starts to decide he's going to get clean, bulk up, and because he just got out muscled.
Yeah.
So that was sort of like, at least again from the script's perspective, I thought that was kind of also making a turning point where he just got manhandled and now he's going to fight back. But again, this is Albert Brooks' character wasn't so muscular. But yeah, I'm surprised you guys didn't think that was the center. It's funny how this movie has a lot of ambiguity to it, right?
It's amazing, dude. This movie is a blockbuster. Everybody knows this movie, and it's such an art house movie, and it's so fucking violent. It's crazy how this movie is a pop culture movie. What else is this? I mean, Clockwork Orange is kind of like this, where it's about horrible people and has ultra violence in it.
Yeah, but Clockwork Orange is more of it's like a science fiction behavioral modification kind of thing that it does.
But who would make a movie like this nowadays? I mean, this would be classified as a horror movie these days, right? Like, it wouldn't get the funding, it wouldn't get the talent, basically. I don't think. I mean, not even.
I don't know. I mean, I think
it might.
I don't know.
What movies like this movie?
That it's. Well, we see movies attempt to do this to try to show the dark side of people, any kind of noir stuff, or Chinatown, or. A lot of these films.
This is not noir.
Well, some people, I mean, one reviewer, when the wiki page, it said some people were calling it like a modern noir, like a new take on noir, but still that kind of sentiment about how it's all crap, and things are really bleak, and things don't work out.
Right.
But no, this is really more of like it's a character study, right? Like, and Scorsese likes that. Like, that's like Raging Bull is another one where it's also sort of a character study of this particular person, and you follow them around, you watch them as they sort of develop or get worse or whatever.
John, where do you rank this? Where do you rank this on Scorsese's movies for yourself? As a person, if you don't know, John is not a huge fan of Martin Scorsese, especially his recent movies, right, John?
This one is really good. I think that, again, this doesn't glorify anything.
It kind of does at the end, though, doesn't it?
No,
well, it does, because it glorifies, like, if you can get away with it, you'll be the man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you pick
the
correct person to murder, you might become a cool guy.
Right.
Or if you're just a sociopath enough, you might be able to manipulate everyone all the time.
Right.
Yes.
And let's leave that ending out, because that's...
I know. The ending is the worst part of the movie.
It's kind of the reverse Scorsese. Normally you have the bad guys, and then they're somehow remorseful or they suffer for what they did right at the end. This is the reverse of what normally happens.
Can you imagine? So I actually fantasize. Every time I watch this movie, I've created a new little narrative for myself. I forget the end happens, and I end the movie for myself when the camera pans across the news clippings. Because I think the way it shows, like, he's the headline news guy. He's a taxi cab hero, and it's the headline news. And every clipping from then gets smaller and smaller. When he recovers, it's a tiny little blurb. And then it's just a letter from the parents. And like, if it was just that, that'd be perfect. Because it's just like, you think you're going to be, if you're one of these assholes who thinks that like by killing somebody famous, you're going to become a famous person and that might justify your existence. Fuck you. You're going to disappear. Like you'll be headline news for one day and everyone will forget who you are and then you'll disappear. And that's it. If that was the point of the movie, that'd be great. But then it gives you like, oh, and maybe the girl you liked will like you back. Also,
right.
So go ahead and do it.
So Taxi Driver or How to Get Over a Girl Rejecting You. But right. So it's,
Right.
yeah, I think that, and also, I mean, if you think about it, it's like, there's no way those Secret Service agents are going to recognize him from all the press and stuff he's getting then. And it'd be like, hey, that's the other guy with the mohawk that we saw trying to pull a
That
gun
guy
on
in
the
the
senator.
taxi. Yeah, right.
Somebody who has that many weapons and shoots that many people is going to be investigated by the police. They're
Doesn't
gonna
matter
put
though.
in a coma.
The press takes over. They don't care about that smaller stuff.
But anyway, there's
minor
other more
priority.
practical ways it could have ended. I mean, they would have wondered where he got all those guns, and they were all clearly illegal. And then I'm sure somebody would put two and two together about the guy they chased off that looked like he was going to assassinate the senator. Anyway,
He saved a 12-year-old prostitute. Like that's headline news. I don't
think
care
that
what else
would-
the guy did. That's
it is
pretty
headline
great.
news, but that doesn't make him immune from any further investigation.
I think it does.
So
Would
okay.
anyone care what else that guy did if he saved her? No one would care.
Yes,
No.
but the people in power would certainly care that he was contemplating assassinating a senator. That the reasons why he got those weapons and basically what his killing of the pimp and so forth was basically his second choice, his sort of like his afterthought. He decided to do that.
Which makes the movie kind of. I like that he kills all those people. Like, is that weird that I kind of like that part of the movie?
They're not good people.
I know, but they're not killing people. I don't
No,
know.
he doesn't-
Like they shouldn't deserve to die.
No,
But-
he doesn't, and I don't think
I'm with Denny on that.
he doesn't necessarily, and I don't even know if he just wants to kill somebody at that point.
No, he does. Yeah, absolutely.
and it's like, this is good enough. That makes sense. Let's do this.
And he does. He's like Dexter, basically. Like
Right.
he's like, I need to
Right.
murder. I might as well murder the bad guys.
I have to
therefore-
get it out. Yeah, right.
So there's like for that scene, there's this screenwriter's
I'm all
note
backed up.
that
I got
says-
murder backed up in my
Yeah.
system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It says so.
Right.
So in the screenwriter's note, right? This is right before the screenwriter explains the scene that they're going to have where they're going to pull back out and show all the individual shots from the top down view. And so it says screenwriter's note. This screenplay has been moving at a reasonably realistic level until this prolonged slaughter. This slaughter itself is a gory extension of violence more surreal than real. The slaughter is what Travis has been heading for all his life, and where the screenplay has been heading for over 100 pages. It is the release of all that cumulative pressure. It is a reality unto itself. It is the psychopath's second coming.
Wow.
Jesus.
They wrote that into the fucking screenplay? That's insane.
So
Wow.
that's why I have this sense that, and this is why reading the screenplay
By they,
changed
I mean
my
Paul
thought of
Schrader,
the film.
the
Yeah,
one
by
guy who
Schrader.
wrote the screenplay.
That like, I don't think this is just about even Vietnam. It is to some
Well, it's
extent.
basically
That's
about
part
the
of it.
fact that this guy was a movie critic and he just got divorced from his wife and he had no money and he was living by himself and he was driving around by himself.
Right.
And he was
trying
struggling
to
with
break.
insomnia.
He's like, what do I do? And he sat in his room for 3 weeks and wrote the screenplay in 10 days.
Oh wait, I thought he was like, but didn't he go to the hospital? I thought he did it in the hospital too because he had like ulcers or something.
But he had ulcers afterwards. He
Oh,
like the
wow.
whole
Oh, really?
stomach cancer thing was a part of like
Yeah.
what he was feeling while he was writing this. Because he
Oh,
had
okay,
stomach
gotcha.
pain that
Jeez.
was coming from nowhere. So he thought he was dying too. But like no one cared about him. He was by himself. He thought he was dying. He wrote the screenplay in a room
Yep.
by himself for 10 days. He was by
Wow.
himself for 3 weeks and then wrote the screenplay in 10 days.
The first text in the screenplay is, as the earth moves towards the sun, Travis Bickle moves towards violence.
How are you gonna put that in a movie?
That's
You were
just-
bad at writing screenplays. You can't put that in a
Well, it was
movie.
a terrible way to start out because the earth doesn't really move towards the sun; it goes around it. But whatever. But
Wait, so it's just the word violence, and you got Robert De Niro on a dolly who were just pushing him towards the word.
Here we go, Bobby.
Bobby, here we go. Look angry. Oh, good job, Bobby. You're so good at looking angry. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
look at that.
Robert De Niro is so good in this. His nervousness, his insecurities, showing all of that, especially like when he's interviewing for the taxi job or when
He
he's
walks into the
Yes,
office to pick up the
yes.
woman, that is just by itself in this movie an impressive way to pick up a woman. Like it's not
Yeah.
creepy at all. It's like that
No.
would work if you walked
Oh,
in.
he was
and
fine
did that,
then. He
it
was
would
fine
work.
then.
right.
Yeah, it would
and
work for
that's
sure.
the thing. That's where she called it out too, because I was also like saying that this is like I was thinking to myself at that point, it's like he's really contradictory in his insecurity, his lack of awareness of other people, and then his sort of boldness.
His entire
and insight.
personality is a veil over his actual feelings, basically, right?
Yeah. But he's still like this sort of like boldness and stuff that he comes out with almost doesn't seem to fit with everything else. But you're right, maybe it's somehow he's like it's a cover, but it's very strange. And yet he couldn't do it to some extent. Like he's trying to sort of pick up on the girl at the movie theater, and he doesn't quite. Well, but even then, he's still being kind of
Pick up
forward.
on the girl. What do you mean?
Earlier on, like there's the girl at the porno theater, and he's like trying to ask her name, and she's like, "Well, you want me to call the manager?"
Yeah. Okay.
But he's even then, I guess he's being kind of bold in terms of like being able to go and impress somebody in terms of getting them interested in you. To walk in there and say, "Hey, I like you. I've been, and I'd like you to go out with me." And that's pretty impressive. He could still be shot down in flames, but it's still an impressive.
It is a part of the movie that the fact that he actually gets the girl at the end or whatever, like it doesn't probably stay with her, I guess, but that only works because he's fucking crazy. The fact that it works and like people can watch it and be like, that might work even if you kill people afterwards. If you're confident,
right?
It's fine.
Maybe I don't know. Just the confidence and directness that he has sometimes, and that's just maybe part of his character. But it does seem contradictory. It's like because he's terribly insecure at the same time, and not only that, not only is he insecure, but he doesn't understand the people around him. He's just not living the same life they are at all.
And he did a good job of acting that out because he would react a certain way and then laugh and then like close down, and it was good.
They linger on that shit too. People would ask him questions, and he would just like not even pay attention, but it would be on his face, and then he just turn and be like, "Wait, are you talking to me?"
Right.
Not even the fucking "Are you talking to me?" scene, but like when they were sitting in the cabbie thing and someone asked him a question, he doesn't pay attention, and they show that he's just like
he's just
trying
staring
to
off
fit
into
in.
space.
Yeah, he's just staring off into space.
Yeah,
he does
he's
that
lost.
a lot. Yeah,
he's lost.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's so much his acting because I don't know. People say this is his best performance. I'd still say Raging Bull is by far better than this. I don't know. I just might be more of a fan, but like it's more of the character.
Raging Bull is a lot more intense. I can see that. I don't know. This is more. I don't know. This is just unlike much.
I don't think it's as much his credit. I think it's the editing and the character and the writing and just the basic theme, like the way the movie feels. It's not him. He gets the credit because he's on the camera most of the time, but like it's not him that's doing the good job. It's the movie.
Well, he's not messing it up. That's for sure.
No, he's great. He doesn't really. I don't know. He doesn't act that much in this movie.
No, but
he does though, because there's little tiny nuances when he's doing it.
Yeah.
And he has timing that was good, I thought. He flips on and off. It's good.
That's true. I don't know, man. It's tough because it's like a pretty underplayed performance, and it's such an insane when he puts the finger, like the bloody finger to his face.
Yes.
That's like that could have been the ending.
It was heavy.
Another thing in the script, he didn't try to kill himself in the script. He didn't try to shoot the gun into his head.
Oh, really?
And then just lots of good casting all around. I mean, just everybody in it is incredible too.
Dude, even the smaller characters, even like the guy who takes the money in the hotel, fucking amazing. Like he's an important character kind of by the end.
Oh yeah.
And then the fact that they meld these characters into like some guerrilla shot things in New York where there's just people walking down the street and then you have Sybil Shepherd in there. It just makes it look like there's a lot of extras, but it's not. They just filmed in New York in the 70s.
Yep.
Right. They didn't ask anybody for permission. It's just New York in the 70s. It's like a fucking documentary. It was when New York was like disgusting still. And you get to see
still
it.
Is.
Yeah.
It's not this bad. I mean, New York used to be way worse than it is now.
No, they gave it all to San
Francisco. When they shot it was like they sort of mentioned that sort of in the Wikipedia. They talked about how that was like just like
there was
a lot of buildings.
Shit in the streets. There was prostitutes literally everywhere. You could get drugs at any corner of any street in New York.
Jeez.
And the guy who wrote the screenplay was just like, New York is where you go to be crazy. It's where you go to be lonely. If you're crazy, go to New York, you'll fit in. If you're lonely, go to New York, no one will notice.
Right.
So it's kind of about New York too, which is kind of sweet. It's like an extra part of the movie.
So, but I also love the gun salesman.
That scene is so good, dude.
What can I get you? What do you need? What do you need?
Yeah.
Look at this little honey.
Yeah. What do you need?
Yeah. It was just almost a comedic moment there that I really appreciated. But a lot of that was ad lib too. The script had nothing of like that this is a little honey. That guy only did like 2 movies.
Really? That guy was perfect for the role.
I know.
Dude.
He produced other stuff, but what was his name?
He looks like Wes Anderson. I'm like, is that Wes Anderson on crack? Is that who that guy is?
I get you whatever you want.
Yeah. What do you got?
Stephen Prince. But yeah, he didn't do much. I mean, he produced some things. But yeah, it wasn't like he went on to really be much like a big actor or anything like that. But he was so good in that.
Such a good scene. That scene is memorable in this movie
funny.
of memorable scenes.
For sure.
Yeah.
He just keeps listing shit out, and you're like, why you keep going? He doesn't want anything, clearly.
I know.
No matter what you're going to say, he's not going to get it.
I just
Uppers,
love him.
downers, crack. I get you, crack.
Uppers, downers, what do you got? Yeah, I get you whatever you need.
But that's a honey right there. That's how you look at that. Look at that. No, honey, that's a beautiful gun. That's a beautiful gun.
You want that, right? I'll get you that.
And then Harvey Keitel was just terribly creepy, awful.
Oh,
fucking
my God.
hell, dude.
His outfit, too. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That is Tommy Wiseau. I'll give Naomi credit. That's Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau watched this movie and was like, I want to be Harvey Keitel from Taxi Driver. So that's who he is.
And that was it.
Wow.
And I'm just going to take it.
Right. The scenes with him and Jodie Foster were just horrible. And I mean, they were well done, but it was just terrifying.
I watched this with Naomi, and we were watching the scene where he's slow dancing with Jodie Foster, and we're just like, you have to know that your movie is good to shoot the scene. You have to know that it's going to be good, right? Because this is fucking creepy as shit.
This is possibly illegal, depending where you are. Even that she was 13 at the time, and maybe
12.
there was like a
12.
body double in there or something for when he's like all snuggling up with her. I don't know, but
so he was, but that scene did not have her. So Jodie Foster's older sister was 16 when they filmed this, and the child labor laws do not apply when you're 16. So a lot of the more suggestive shots, like the behind the shoulder shot when she's like undoing the pants of Robert De Niro during that scene, was her sister. But Jodie Foster, you can see her face in that scene where she's dancing with Harvey Keitel.
Right.
And Keitel's talking about describing her abilities. That's all ad lib. That wasn't in the script either.
Yeah. So when you say ad lib, John, I want to clarify. So
I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means the scriptwriter was there working with them or what.
So the screenwriter was there the entire time they made this movie.
Okay.
There's a lot of like talk about people improvising lines.
Yeah.
Improvising lines in this movie means during the rehearsals, they were allowed to improvise, and then they wrote the good lines into the script.
Gotcha.
So they didn't improvise when they were filming. Obvious, like they wrote the improvised lines into the script. That made sense. That sounded good.
That might often be what they mean when they talk about improvising. I don't know.
Martin Scorsese wanted Harvey Keitel to be in this movie, and he wanted him to be the guy that was opposite Sybil Shepherd. That was his character.
Oh, yeah.
When Harvey Keitel read the script, he was like, "I want to be the pimp." And Scorsese was like, "Dude, there's 3 lines for the pimp. He has 3 lines." And Keitel's like, "I can do something with it. I can do something with this." So then the entire development of that character was Harvey Keitel feeling like he wanted to develop the pimp character in this movie.
Yeah.
So give credit to Harvey Keitel for writing like all of that shit, basically.
Yay, Harvey. Good for you. This one really spoke to you.
Who knows?
I mean, Jesus Christ, John. I can't even defend that one. I love Harvey Keitel in this movie, but yeah, that's fucked up, I guess.
No, he's like, I want to be, who do you want to be, Harvey? He can be the sort of nice guy.
I want to
be the pimp.
I've never been a pimp before. I've never been a pimp.
No,
Love to be a pimp.
But he doesn't have many lines. I'm gonna make him this disgusting, filthy animal. You watch, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got this.
Harvey.
I've always dreamed about being a pimp. You know, you're like, whoa, dude. Yeah. You know, you're at work, right? He's like, yeah. I'm gonna do the pimp. He's like, all right, dude. You're in. You're in.
Oh man. Yeah. Oof. It's just tough. There's this horrible bit of writing on the script there.
What is
so it? You can, I don't know. This is like just, there are a lot of good dialogue and this stuff in the script, but so she's like 14, 15 in the script, and then when Travis is in the room with her, the script says Iris unbuttons her shirt, revealing her small, pathetic breasts.
Pathetic?
Oh my God.
2 young
Jesus
doves
Christ.
hiding from the winter wind.
2 young doves?
Oh my God, a little overkill on that one, huh? Holy
take it easy,
shit,
Paul.
Huh?
Paul, take it easy, dude.
We don't need all that info. You'll put that away.
Hey, maybe this is a really dark story that tells the horrible, dark things you were going through. That doesn't mean you understand women. It's okay. Or it can even represent them or should represent them ever.
I don't know. That.
So I think there's one line, speaking of like the scene where he's talking to her, there's one line in this movie that sticks out as uncharacteristic to the movie. It sticks out to me as bad, but I think it works because of his character. Like when he's leaving the scene during that, when he makes brunch plans with Iris, basically, after he like hires her to have sex, but he doesn't. He walks away and like touches her face and says like, he has a smile and he says, "Sweet Iris." Sweet Iris.
That's weird.
That
I didn't know
out.
And
but
that confused me. It confused me because...
John, it seems bad, right? But I think it's because he has this narrative in his head that he's like fulfilling, right? He has like a plan of how this is all going to work. He's going to make Iris a good person now. So like he's done his part. He's made the plans. And now Iris in his head
Like,
is
that's
going
the
to be
story.
a regular person.
It's
again,
going to be
which makes
I
it even better. I
like
think.
that. It just confused me because I didn't even
agree.
know what his intentions were then.
The
at
line
that point.
seems totally out of place in the movie.
Yeah.
But I think that it works. I think he's just like he's exposing his for like the one time in the movie. He's exposing his like inner dialogue of what he's planning on doing.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Damn.
I'm justifying the one bad line in the movie.
You
with
can.
that.
That's fine.
That works
I think so.
with your explanation at least.
Yeah. Were there any other lines in the movie that you guys thought stuck out? John, you knew what I was talking about immediately. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else?
No, I
No.
think there's a lot of great sequences in terms of the dialogue and the interactions with other people. I think Albert Brooks' like banter with Sybil Shepherd was fun.
Yep.
Again, that's the kind of character he often plays, but it's very cute.
And the thing is, too, it's like it's
yeah.
supposed to be they're kind of romantically interested, but not really.
Kind of.
Or something is
like
kind of confusing.
It's like he's interested in her, but she's not really too interested in him. Maybe, I don't know.
When she's like, put on your
Yeah.
glasses, he's like, give me a minute.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. It was funny. It's
I don't need your, banter over there. Would you leave me alone for
Yeah.
a second? Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've covered a lot of it. I mean, I think there's the washed out colors toward the end, which is interesting. Like during that,
You read about that?
The sort of I did. I read the wiki page has a nice.
I didn't notice it.
description
Did
on
you
that.
notice it?
Yeah,
You
I
did
did
notice it
because
while
I-
you're watching TC, did you?
I did not.
I did
No,
not.
I did
not
because
either.
I was wondering if this was like, is he dreaming? Is this going into some kind of weird surreal thing? But they did it because of the ratings board.
They didn't want an X.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they
shit.
had to wash the color, and there's like in the wiki, there's like one of the cinematographers is sad because the original of that doesn't exist anymore. Whereas I think Scorsese thought that it actually improved the film.
There's pictures. If you watch, there's a making of that comes on the DVD. There's pictures of what it actually looked like with the colors, and it didn't look as
okay.
good. The
Yeah.
ending is so stylized. The shootout, at least, is like
It is.
fucking
I
perfect.
would. My other complaint
Yeah.
is sometimes I think the score is overbearing.
No, dude, the
Yeah.
score is so good.
Is it really? I didn't notice it too much after
thought
I
it
got
was
used to
great.
the sound.
I started to notice the harp. The goddamn harp was like
The
playing.
harp is great.
too.
The harp is so
Oh
great.
no! It sort of seemed overbearing. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I love the harp. Like, I
Yeah.
thought the saxophone music
I
was a little bit too much.
All I thought
Yeah.
was, I was like, why did anyone ever think this was good?
Yeah.
The style, like the genre.
Why is this
like,
saxophone
who
an
was listening
instrument?
to
This fucking horn sucks.
Yeah. Who listening to this
I
and
had
was like, this is
headphones on
fucking
for
amazing.
This one, man.
You know?
So I
Not my
really had
thing.
the headphones on listening to this one. So I thought it really teetered on the edge of doing too much.
I think
And
it's
sometimes
it's
actually
great,
think it
dude. I think
did.
it like pushes you into a corner with it.
Yeah.
I agree it's overbearing, but not in a bad way. I think it forces you into
I agree with like the swells and stuff. I just thought sometimes they did too much instrumentation, and sometimes like again the harp just seemed a little too much there at the end.
I mean, you can't complain with the last scene where there's no music whatsoever, literally, until it goes to the overhead pan shot where it's just like, and then the harp up as it
Harp,
pans
harp,
over.
harp, more
It's
harp,
fucking amazing.
More harp. I
It's
play
amazing.
it as hard as my fingers will allow. It's an
You're
acoustic
criticizing
instrument.
that, John.
Yes.
John, are you fucking
Yes.
kidding me? Seriously, that's like the best part of the fucking
I don't
movie.
like the harp there. I think it's too much harp. Too much
I
harp.
think it's that harp makes the fucking makes
Really?
it better to me.
I'll
Yeah, it
have
makes
to
it
listen.
so much better.
I'll have to watch it again, maybe. But
I don't know. I like that. I noticed the harp and I'm like, that's amazing. It makes it seem
know.
like a horrible nightmare.
right, because it's all fairy tale
Yeah.
sounding like.
Yeah, it's all slow motion and there's like a pulsing
It is, yes.
thing in the
it is like
background.
a slow. Yeah.
It's
very
fucking
slow.
it's so scary. It's awesome.
Yep.
This is a fucking horror movie.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah. Without like all the, gore, really. except
There's
for
a
that
lot
last
of
part.
gore. There's a lot of gore.
But there's not like in the ones we got now.
no,
with
but towards the
stupid,
end, like the guy getting shot in the face is just, and the hand getting shot off is.
the fact that
It's
that was
gnarly.
a tiny
Yeah.
gun, like the fact that make
gnarly.
you think that, hey, you have a tiny gun, and even though you're hitting him in the face, it might not fucking kill him immediately. He's
I
just
know,
getting
right?
peppered with tiny bullets in the
with tiny
face.
bullets. Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
fucking
And
terrifying.
you see it pop
man.
in his face too. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's fucking so fucking scary. And the Magnum. So I have some really good trivia on the special effects in this movie.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
But let me look through. What else you got, John? What else?
I think that's sort of covers everything.
I don't really
that
have
I
much
got.
else.
I'm going through my notes.
I got a question. Are porn theaters open at 9 a.m. in the morning after
I don't
a
think
taxi driver
do
shift?
those even still exist? I was like, these people used to go and sit together? What the fuck?
Before the internet, porn theaters are probably hopping. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to
Yeah,
watch
I
people
mean,
fuck.
before the internet, they
Yeah.
might have been 24/7. I don't know.
I mean, can you imagine a porn theater at 9 a.m. what the scene would be like? Jesus
I mean, they have
Christ.
strip clubs that
Christ,
are
every
open in
morning.
the mornings, right?
Yeah, you ever been to a strip club at 9 a.m., John? Let me tell you.
Brunch.
Not the best talent on the stage. Not at 9 a.m.
Maybe. I don't know. Once or twice on a
Timmy,
Monday, Tuesday.
what's
you
the
know?
best time to go to a strip club, Timmy?
Before all the assholes get in, so like 9 o'clock. I'm out there waiting in line, queuing up. Can I get in? I need some, I need some, skunky pussy here.
Oh, it smells like skunk out here. Nice.
It smells like skunk. I know I'm in the right place.
on the door? It's Timmy again. We're not
It's
open yet,
Timmy.
Timmy.
And we told you, don't come back, Timmy.
Fuck you, let me in.
I got dollars. I got
I need
dollars
tens
right
and
here.
sticky pussy. I got dollars. Larry Arabia paid me today, dude. Come on.
That's Timmy.
Yeah,
I don't pull from anything real. I don't pull from anything real. No.
No, not at all.
That's right.
It's just
Before I
perfectly
forget,
normal,
though.
real things
No,
that happen in
perfectly
your head.
normal. I just, I'm a writer at heart.
It's all for research, actually.
Yeah, right. Well, right.
One thing I was going to, before I forget to mention this, you've seen Joker. Have you seen the Joker film?
Yes. So the workout scenes, we were like, that's Joker. That's totally Joker.
I was
right?
going to I was
I
wondering
know.
about the
Yes, that's a good
comparisons in
point.
general of this
That's
film.
right.
Where he's sitting like with a really bad posture and he's like super skinny, but kind of like he's muscular, but he's like skinny. That's, totally.
They definitely
Joaquin Phoenix.
ripped that right off.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, John, when we
But
watched
even
that.
some of the sentiments of this movie, I don't know. I haven't seen Joker, but I don't know if that.
Oh, you haven't even seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Do yourself a favor, John. Don't watch that
bother.
movie.
No, but I was wondering if this film is kind of, if that film really echoes this one in terms of its tone or in terms of like
It's worse
somebody going
because it
insane.
glorifies this type of
it's
person
worse.
more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It it literally says being this kind of violent, crazy person. If you have, it glorifies violence in the way that like people will want to be violent more than even this movie. Which is
and
fucked.
even this one, like again, and I don't feel this glorifies it at all, but it influenced the guy who tried to shoot Ronald Reagan, and he wanted to impress Jodie Foster. And again, he was crazy. This movie like was just influencing him,
which is hilarious. When that happened, they arrested the screenwriter of the movie.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
The guy came back, didn't even hear the news. He went to his hotel. He was like traveling for some reason. There were cops at his hotel and they arrested him in the hotel.
God.
He's like, wait, what is this? And you're like, you wrote Taxi Driver. And he's like, what does that have to do with anything? And he's like, some guy tried to assassinate the president and he said it was because of this movie and Jodie Foster was the fuck. He's like, oh, fuck.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, oh, this might be tough to get out of. I don't even know what any of that means.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just going through my notes here. There's some stuff. So the porn scene, you guys noticed it was blurred out when he went into the theater.
Right.
You know how they used to edit that into movies, the blurring?
How?
You drop oil onto the frame.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. It just blurs like
It
the whole
blurs
thing.
it out.
Like they on the actual
Interesting.
negative?
Frame by frame.
Wow.
I mean, that's special effects back in the day. Like
Somebody's
used to do
sitting
it frame
there
by frame.
with a magnifying glass and an eyedropper putting oil over porno.
You can see when De Niro's head passes through his head gets in the way of the screen. His head is blurred.
He gets
for like
oily?
a half a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It gets a little oily. They tried to dodge him. You can still kind of see they tried. They tried,
Right.
but they
It's
didn't
like-
succeed.
Oh, man.
I mean, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It is.
But they initially
Yes.
thought they'd be able. I mean, this movie was not made for money. Like they didn't make it thinking it was going to make a lot of money. It was like a passion project for all these people. So they literally filmed the porn being like whatever, you know. But then like the studios saw the dailies and the film.
Like, we
and they're
can't
like,
put
"Dude,
this in there.
movie
What are you
is
guys doing?"
awesome."
Yeah. Right.
Like this movie is fucking awesome. We need to edit this so we can get an R. We need an R so we can get it into bigger theaters.
Bigger theaters. Yeah.
I've asked this before. I still don't understand how this is a passion project for somebody. I'm not unappreciative that it's there. But
So this is the biggest thing I think with this movie, and this is I think especially for females is the hardest thing to get into this movie. There's a lot in this movie that is male centric.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yes,
touches on
there
like something that is, I think, is inherent in every male. There's like violence in every single male, and it has to be taught out of you.
Huh.
And this
They're
movie
trained out of you.
trained out of you, but it's still there. This guy is a nutcase, but I still kind of feel most of his anxiety, basically. Do you guys disagree?
I think it's a very
don't
brave
disagree.
thing
No,
for you
I'm
to say.
100% on board.
John, do you disagree?
I don't know, man.
Come on.
You don't. He's no. You don't say that.
Don't lie. Don't lie to us,
No
John.
comment.
I'm
No
not lying.
comment.
I think I would just say I think you're right in the sense of masculinity.
Males
here.
are more violent than females. Like there's just
Yeah.
something
You're
about
telling
this movie
me
that
you
is-
never killed anybody, John?
No.
You're telling me that
You're
you
telling me
never
that
killed
I'm
anyone.
more of the
Come on.
coward, so I don't know if I'm like
Timmy's
the runt
killed like
of the
20
litter.
people.
Maybe
Timmy
I don't
is
get
a-
to have the manly thoughts as much since I'm the runt. I
Timmy's
don't know.
waiting out in front of the strip club in line.
I'm the guy that
8:30 a.m.
hides.
You know,
I don't know.
there's frustration there.
I don't think you're totally wrong. I don't think that it's. I think you're right. There's something very masculine about this, and about a lot of Scorsese's films. A lot of the people,
Yeah.
a lot of these characters. It's really there's no feminine perspective in any of this.
I think, dude, I like Scorsese. Like specifically, John has talked a lot of shit on Scorsese through watching a lot of his movies, but like, I think he's trying to document something that nobody understands. Like he has a lot of frustration in himself, and he's
I would
devoted
suggest
his entire fucking
You know what
life
he's
to
making?
try
He's
to
making
capture
art.
some kind
I
of
would
sense.
suggest he
in it.
doesn't understand it either. I mean, these
No,
films
nobody
aren't
does.
about understanding it. These are films are in Raging Bull, what have you. It's all about trying to portray it, like desperately
right.
trying to portray these things without an understanding
And not knowing
of
if he's
them.
gonna do it
And
until
maybe
the
it's-
end.
again,
Right?
there is no understanding of it. I don't know, but
That's good, I think,
yeah.
because at least you can watch this and relate to it. And I mean, this movie's about somebody who goes crazy. What other movies
yeah.
are about people who just go crazy for no fucking reason? Because that happens a lot. And then
Right.
you see it in the news, and then it goes away, just like it does in this fucking movie.
Right. No.
But, like,
you
nobody
have-
ever tries
you
to
have mass
understand why it
shooting-
happens.
Right. No, you have mass shootings. You have all kinds of things like that, right? You
Yeah.
don't
Hey,
know.
just lock 'em up,
And
forget
again,
about it.
I think you're right. And it's not just necessarily for no reason. I mean, there's reasons all around him. He's isolated. He doesn't understand what's going on around him. He wants to interact. He wants, to have a girlfriend and that. And he's just not capable of some of these things. He's not capable of
His
like
mental
reaching
state
out.
is not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on all these things, Denny. I don't say you're wrong or anything.
No, I know.
And I appreciate.
I think
Scorsese
I think it
doing
makes
this.
the movie fucking amazing. And like,
No, I do. And like I say, I appreciate Scorsese doing this. I just think with many of the other films, not Raging Bull, but certainly all the mobster films, there's a lot of glorification of this. And that
this movie does the same thing, right? Yeah, that's the last minute.
This movie does the last minute, but it's the opposite. It's like it's a
it's easy to forgive it because it's just so tacked on to the end. It's so much at the end.
But that's exactly the way I feel like the either the guilt or the remorse or people getting in trouble, it always feels tacked on to the end of the mobster films.
Disagree, and at the very least with Wolf of Wall Street, the ending lasted for like a half an hour where he was a piece of shit, basically.
The last 20 minutes or whatever, but there's so much glorification and joy expressed in who he was in the vast majority of that very long film. That
Timmy, you got some Quaaludes for me? Timmy, you got some Quaaludes?
Hold on,
Anyway.
I'll call Joey. I think he's got him this time.
Yeah, but
Are they
again,
from 1981? That's when the good stuff was made.
Don't worry about it, asshole. Oh, you wanted
Sorry,
Quaaludes,
John.
right? Fuck.
Sorry,
Jesus
John.
Christ.
You're right, that's right.
Don't bring your
Even
money
you
out
express,
here.
Like,
What are we giving you money
express sort
for?
of
You give it to
some
Joey.
ambivalence
Jesus Christ, don't take your money out.
about Wolf of Wall Street, even, right? That was kind of our criticism of the film as a
But that's
as a
the
group,
risk you take when you make movies like this, I think. Like, there's no way to make a movie like this. I think in this one, he does like a perfect fucking job, minus the 1 minute at the end. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
nobody else can fucking do that. And he does. I thought Wolf of Wall Street was great in not actually making him somebody you want to be. But if you're an asshole, maybe you want to be him. Maybe
Maybe
this
you
is the
do.
same way. If you're a
Right,
fucking
yeah.
psycho, maybe you want to be this guy. That's not the movie's fault. That's because you're a fucking psycho. I don't know.
Right.
What are you going to do? You going to stop making art because of that?
No, but I do
No.
think if you do end up spending a fair amount of your film sort of glorifying this stuff, you might increase people's tolerance of it, and that's a worrisome thing. And you normalize it, and all of these monster
Right,
films.
right.
Maybe the opposite could be said, because if it's more normalized, then more people would look at it, and you might come up with a way to fix it. I don't know.
Eh. No. Well,
There's
there's
other
no
ways
way
to look at it.
No, these films certainly don't encourage that sort of thing at all because they don't attempt to try to understand any of it ever. Which again is it's
Yeah.
fine. Maybe
But
it's
don't you
not
think bringing it to pop
understandable.
culture is a way of bringing it to like people who wouldn't even think about this kind of thing?
I don't see these films as being necessarily thought of that way, maybe, but it doesn't feel like that's how it feels like with these films, it's really more like, it's still kind of like a popcorn movie and you're just getting
This is
enthralled
not a
by these
popcorn movie.
characters.
You just call this movie a popcorn
one,
movie?
Not this
Okay,
movie.
sorry.
I'm talking about the gangster movies.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, I'm not, or even Wolf of Wall Street. The movie is just hugely entertaining for the most part, for the vast majority of it. So I don't get a sense that that's like, I arguably think that some of those films are riding that joy of being the bad guy and doing what you want and taking what you want and keeping, taking care of your own, but screwing whoever else as long as they're not part of your family or your organization or what have you. And
But John, don't you think that that's kind of a portrait of human beings in itself? Like, isn't that worth documenting in a way that where if those movies are popular enough where people watch them and relate to them, then that's fucking human beings. And we should all look at it and be like, we're fucked up and we should fix
Well, you know
this.
what? It's not, guys. It's not a Marvel movie. That's what it's not.
But these movies don't do this. These movies almost, at least for a good chunk of them, celebrate it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how humans live, man.
Yep.
Like, that's it.
Right.
That's important to recognize. I think it's important to recognize. I think it's important to recognize. I think that's what Marty's trying to do.
It's important to recognize. I just wish, I do wish, like,
I watched the commentary in the making of. Everyone calls him Marty. I'm sorry. His name is Marty to me now.
Yeah.
His name is Marty.
Marty Scorsese is his name.
Yeah. I do wish these films just did more than that. Tried to do more than that. That's all.
You want a moral at the end?
To understand
you want a block letter at the end and be like, Travis Bickle didn't get the girl at the end. He ended up masturbating in his apartment for 20 years and then he fucking shot himself in the head.
Trying to understand it. That's all. And instead of just presenting
John, I know what you're getting at, John. I know what your point is.
Yeah. Yes, I do too. I'm sorry, John. I'm just trying to defend the movie.
It's okay. Well, I'm not telling you this movie is fantastic. I'm glad this movie exists. I don't crap on this movie. We were sort of walking into other Scorsese movies.
I'm sorry. I'm just going back because it's easier to defend this movie than it is his other fucking movies.
Well, that's fine. Sure. I completely agree with that. And again, other than that end, and it's such a small ending, and I don't get it because Scorsese defends it too. And the screenwriter and Scorsese define the ending as it is.
They tried to do something that didn't come through. I feel like the ending was a failure, basically. There's a sound cue in the ending, which I noticed, but I didn't know what it was. When he's looking in the rearview mirror when there's nobody back there, the sound goes like, yep.
Oh, I think that in the wiki page, the screenwriter is talking about that as being an indication that he's going to kill again. That he's just looking. Yeah, that he's right now.
That's why he's leaving her behind as a nicety. Because he's going to fucking murder some more people. It's basically what that's supposed to mean, which doesn't come across at all whatsoever.
Nope. I agree.
So it's kind of a failure in terms of like a narrative description or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it would have been, either ending the way that you did, that you're suggesting, Denny, or they show like maybe he's back with his buddies, but they show a lot more increased tension with him, saying that now he's really like, he's getting to where he's more comfortable with this cycle of violence and it's going to happen even sooner again.
Yeah.
And that would have been a chilling ending as well.
Both would have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Whatever. It's only 2 minutes of the movie. The movie's
still better. At least they took it out of where the screenplay where she's like, "Can I see you again?" At least they didn't do that to show that she really likes him now because
Why would you get in the back seat? The guy is a lunatic. He brought you to a porn theater. He murdered a bunch of people without any connection to any of them.
He came back to your fucking office and yelled at you.
He yelled at you. Yeah, he fucking screamed at you.
Yeah.
You're going to get into his cab, but you're going to
he's a really nice guy deep down, though. He's got feelings.
If they're trying to like put this as realistic, then this is so far away from understanding a woman's perspective, right?
Right.
Jesus.
Dude, it's all so the baseline of a woman's perspective is as long as you're good looking like a young Robert De Niro, then you might try to fuck him as long as he gets the newspaper headlines or something.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Look, Harvey, you're doing the pimp thing. We know it. Jesus, shut up over there, Harvey.
These films, they're like, as you say, Denny, that's not what they're about anyway. They really are male perspective films and they're trying to deal with the darker sides of masculinity.
You got to kind of give it to him because he's not a female. He just unapologetically does what he knows.
I know,
he does it over and over again. That's all he fucking knows. That's all he knows.
That's right. And I think maybe just our times, like with our federal government the way it is, where they're like they are these people.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that
it's like this is Goodfellas. It's dumb Goodfellas.
Yeah,
we're living in dumb Goodfellas.
It might be part of my other reaction to this right now because I just have had enough of it, and I don't want to watch movies about it. I don't.
Right.
I don't want to watch anything that might make people think this isn't such a bad thing.
Yeah,
right.
It's true.
I think that's might be part of where some of my sentiments come to on this stuff.
It's
like maybe
totally
if things we were in a much happier place, then these films would be sort of like, kind of like horror films. They'd be kind of like an indulgence of sorts, where you'd watch like the bad guy sort of being the good guy, and that could be kind of thrilling,
Can we watch a horror movie next week?
Can we?
Can we?
Out of the blue, you'd like to watch a horror movie?
I want you guys to watch a horror movie next week.
Oh,
all right.
Wow, that was out of the blue. Okay,
it was. I mean,
You
we're
fucked
planning
us,
on
John.
diverting
It's your
next week
fault.
anyway, because on the list, the next week is Clockwork Orange, and there's no fucking way I'm watching Clockwork
I'm
Orange
not doing
directly
that
after
after
watching
this.
this.
Right, and then
No way.
when is
No way.
Requiem for a Dream? Is
Directly after Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, then we would all commit
So we're gonna
suicide.
buffer this shit out because
What happened to Timmy? He's dead. He had to watch
Yeah,
those 3 movies.
Timmy
He's never
got
coming back.
Timmy
He hates you guys
he
so
watched
much.
Taxi
He
Driver,
left. Yeah.
then Clockwork Orange, and then Requiem for a Dream. He only got 10 minutes into Requiem for a Dream, and then he killed himself.
Did he kill himself?
He
No,
fucking
he
blew
left
his
it
head off.
open-ended because he wanted to piss you guys off so much. We have no idea what happened to him. He could be dead. He's gone. I don't know where it is,
I
but
love
he's
the
gone.
last second of Timmy's life is just plummeting towards the earth out of a window,
Yeah.
just going, here we go.
Fuck you, assholes. I'm out of here.
You know, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, God. You're right.
Go on,
we
get
need
the
to- we
whiskey
need to
ready.
buffer
I'm
this.
about to. You know.
We need to buffer this. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the horror film you want? What's the horror film you want?
Oh,
Actually,
God,
it might
we
not
really
be
have to
good.
do a horror film.
No, we don't. We don't.
Can we do like a
so next week
Roses
we're
and,
going to watch something
you know.
very light and fluffy. It's going to
Yeah,
be
right, there you
amazing.
go.
So these 2 movies we're going to buffer, and now that we're talking about it, this is not the end, but between this movie, Clockwork Orange, and Requiem for a Dream, we're going to watch in whatever order we decide either PK, the Indian movie that is now 246 in the top 250, or Your Name, which is number 76 right now
Okay.
on
Oh,
the
wow.
top 250,
Okay.
which
Cool.
is a Japanese
nice,
movie.
Fun movies. Or not fun, but lighthearted.
They're lighthearted. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to this stretch here,
This thing, yeah, right.
who decided to put these 3 movies next to each other is what I want to know. They have to know that there's a bunch of fucking people
Not
making
IMDb, I'll tell you that
podcasts
much.
where they watch one movie at a time in the order that it was frozen from August
I don't
2016.
know. Well, then maybe there's a spot in the list for really good movies, but they're really dark movies. So you can't put them too close to the top. So they kind of sink to this sort of natural spot of these are the really good, awful movies.
Well, naturally, so the after Requiem for a Dream is Amelie, which is a great
Right,
feel-good
That's a
movie.
good
Yeah,
one.
that's true. Yeah. I think Requiem is one of the, I just thinking of that film, I still have a sickness feeling about that one, man. That one's bad.
Yeah, I felt like this. So I'm just going through my notes. I really felt like the scene that really popped out to me. I've seen this movie so many fucking times. My dad actually showed me this movie when I was younger.
Oh,
'Cause,
God.
like I got
That
interested in
explains a lot.
film. Like I was like 18, I think.
Oh, okay.
I was really getting into film, and I was like, I want to watch like really good movies. And my dad was like, dude, watch Taxi Driver. It's fucking good. And the scene that stood out to me the most, like trying to focus and watch this movie, was the scene where he went out with the wizard. That is a fucking pinnacle scene in the movie, and it's the only reason him going to the cafeteria is a part of the movie. I think that one scene,
Oh, yeah. Where
because
he's
the rest
sitting
of
out
it's
there.
just fucking. I mean, I
No,
don't
well,
know.
they're showing him being really distracted, which I thought was well done too. They show him like he's like getting like absorbed in his bubbles and his drink and whatever, and
Yeah.
just he's just out of it. And he's
no,
and-
different scene, different.
Is that a
scene.
different scene?
Yeah,
I thought
it's
that
the-
was
it's the next
oh,
time.
Crap.
That scene.
What,
when he
what
gets
happens when he's back
That was the
there?
first scene.
Okay.
When he gets to the cafeteria is when he gets distracted by the bubbles and it cuts to something else. But the
Yeah,
next,
yeah.
I think it was like the second or third time he goes there, the wizard is going, Peter
Oh, I
Boyle,
know.
and then he like follows him out and then he asks him for advice.
Yeah, it was what he doesn't do anything in there. He's just like, I guess the wizard's just like telling his usual stories. I think that's what's happening. Is one of his stories is being said, and you hear a little
Just
bit of
jumping
that.
his ridiculous fake stories, basically.
Yeah. I think that scene does stick out too. I mean, it just sort of like this is him trying to connect to somebody other than the
He's
girl.
asking for help the only time in the movie.
Yeah,
He realizes what's happening.
doesn't get
and
it.
then he's pretty much like, fuck, I'm toast.
Hey, you're
I'm
gonna be
start
fine,
murdering.
dude. Suck it up.
right.
Get up at 4 a.m. Take a run, dude. Get over it, right?
You guys ever had bread soaked in milk with whiskey and sugar poured on top? It seems like a pretty good breakfast.
I'm sure I have at some point. You know,
Seems
what's
like a
left?
good little
I don't know.
breakfast.
I was wondering what that was. I got lost there. I didn't see the whole thing. Oh, I forgot. I think Coke paid this might be the first time we've seen actual marketing in the film so far from such a long time ago. There were like 6 clear Coke cans.
The Cokes are always
wow.
pointed at the camera for sure.
Yeah. I was remarking on that because I don't think like a film from this long ago, I hadn't seen like product placement. So,
Right.
and actually in the script, he's supposed to, they're like sitting there in the porn theater and she's like trying to put up with it for a while. And he's like, oh no. And she's like, what? He's like, I forgot to go get the Coca-Colas. And that's when
That's what
she
you're
bails.
thinking about right now, bro?
John, you should start being a screenwriter. That's fucking gold right there, dude. You'll get Coke endorsements left and right.
No, it really was in the script. I'm not kidding.
No, it wasn't. Really?
It was, yes.
No.
It was.
You guys ready for trivia?
Yeah. Oh, God. Trivia. Yeah, here we go.
So, Martin Scorsese, I listen to commentary on 1.5 speed all the time because why not? You know
Yeah, right.
Oh, I have one guess
Save
what
time.
might happen here.
what? Go for it,
Marty
John. You're
talks
probably right.
fast.
Oh my God, he's the only person that is hard to understand at 1.5 speed. I've listened to over 200 movies, commentary tracks, and special features, and Martin Scorsese talking on 1.5 speed is fucking hard to understand. He talks so goddamn fast.
Thanks.
That's all I had to say. So you were right, John. Brian De Palma, what did he do? He's a pretty famous guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
What did he do? I'm looking at his movies. He did a bunch of like schlocky. He did Blowout. Oh, he did Scarface.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, the first one. Ooh, that's a good one. Snake Eyes, Nicolas Cage classic. Oh yeah, Mission to Mars. But he was the reason. So the screenwriter was introduced to Scorsese through Brian De Palma.
Oh, wow.
That's a pretty fun piece of trivia right there.
Yep.
Brian De Palma introduced Paul Schrader to Martin Scorsese, and Paul Schrader already had a career, and Martin Scorsese did not. So they were introduced, and the movie wasn't set in stone yet. So then Martin Scorsese crashed Hollywood parties, LA parties, for a couple months, trying to go to a party where Paul Schrader was so he could be signed on to this project. He
Really?
would fucking
Whoa.
sneak into fucking Hollywood parties to
Paul
try
here,
to see Paul Schrader.
Paul here.
Yeah, Paul.
Is he
Hey,
here?
you guys
Is he
see
here?
Paul?
Is he
You guys see Paul?
Paul here,
Oh.
Paul here, Paul here. Paul,
Exactly.
Paul.
That's exactly what. That's Martin Scorsese's the beginning of his career was him sneaking into Hollywood parties.
Great. Here comes this fucking asshole again. Ignore him. He's going to ask for Paul.
Dude, isn't that crazy? He's like one of the biggest directors of all time, and that's how he fucking
Yeah.
started, just being a sneaky little
that's
guy.
what this place does, though, right?
Robert De Niro was filming a movie called 1900. It was an Italian movie. He was filming it in Italy, in Rome, when he was training for this movie. He flew from Rome to New York on weekends while he was filming the movie to become a cab driver. He got his cab license and drove cabs on weekends during the filming of a movie he was doing in Rome.
He was like driving a taxi. Can you imagine?
He was in The Godfather before this movie came out. Can you imagine getting in a fucking cab and be like, the fucking guy from The Godfather driving the cab right there? What's his name? What's his name, John? You've
Hey,
seen
don't
The
mention
Godfather,
it.
right?
If you want problems, don't mention it, all right? Don't mention it. He's driving. Come on.
Is that Frankie? Is it Frankie? Is that his name,
Oh,
John?
I don't
Let's get
know,
Sopranos all of a
honestly.
sudden over there.
Is it Joey? Is his name Joey? What's his name?
I don't know.
Johnny Jr., Tommy, Timmy.
Oh, no, wait. He was he in Godfather 1?
He was in 1 and 2, wasn't he?
Was he in 1?
He was in 2. 2 was before this.
I was going to say, I thought he was in, even 2 was before this?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in 1.
Oh, he wasn't.
It is Al Pacino.
Isn't Al Pacino in
Oh, wow.
2 as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Paul Schrader, the screenwriter, he found a 15-year-old prostitute and hired her for 2 days. And what he did was the exact same thing that Robert De Niro did, was get more than just sex out of her. He hired her because he wanted to know what an underage prostitute would actually act like.
More than?
Wow.
You mean instead of, right?
Instead of.
Paul?
Instead of.
Yeah?
Yeah. No sex. No. Well, as far as
As far
he's
as
saying.
the book is concerned.
But he talked to her all night and wrote a lot of the character on her. And then the next day they went to brunch and he brought Jodie Foster to meet her
Oh, wow.
to take personality traits off of her. And the prostitute that he found is in the movie. It's her friend. It's Jodie Foster's friend.
Oh,
that
no
pulls her
way.
away
Oh,
from
my
situations.
God.
Is an actual prostitute that the screenwriter found in New York when he was writing this movie.
Oh,
I don't know how. That's fucking weird. That's super fucking weird.
yeah. Oh, God.
So she's a real prostitute, and she was 15 years old.
Oh,
Jesus.
So there you go.
I hope she did okay after that.
Probably not, Sean. Probably not.
Right. Probably guessing no.
I gotta say no.
Oh,
Scorsese does his
say
own
no.
storyboards, and they're not great. But everybody says that they're the best portion of them is because of how bad his drawings are. They give you all the direction you need while leaving all the imagination up. You know, like they're not detailed enough where like
it's
you
like
can't-
stick figures.
Yeah, they're stick figures and they're arrows of like, this is the way the camera's going to move. This is the way the action's going to go in this shot. And that's it. And then everything else, people are creative on how to make it look on camera. So it's like,
Jeez.
it allows people to do their jobs.
Instead of wasting time on setting up the perfect arrow.
Yeah, it's like, I drew a hamster cage in the back right-hand corner. Why don't I see the hamster cage? Terry Gilliam.
Because, Marty, there's no hamster in this movie. I don't know what you think you are, but you're in the wrong lot. This is, Home Improvement. I don't know what to tell you.
Martin Scorsese made the camera crew nervous the entire time they were filming because he was doing things that nobody had ever done before. There's a scene towards the beginning where De Niro's pulling in the cab to the left and the camera's turning to the right. And it pans around the entire cab thing and then lands on De Niro getting out of the cab on the right. So it's basically like the action is moving left and the camera's moving right. That shit didn't happen. Like nobody fucking did that stuff before. There's the scene where he's in the phone call and he's talking and the camera pans down an empty hallway and you're continuing to listen to De Niro talk as the hallway is empty. And then he goes out into the hallway. Like that shit didn't happen. People were nervous. Every day he told them to do that type of shit.
Wow.
They just everyone's like a professional kind of, they're trying to make it and he's telling them to do crazy shit like that. And they're like, dude, no, this isn't the way it's done, man. He's like, do it. I'm fucking Scorsese. I'm about to be really fucking famous. All right.
We're making art here. What did I tell you?
Wow.
Robert De Niro invited Jodie Foster to have breakfast with him 4 times before they started filming. And he sat there in silence.
Jeez.
He invited her to have breakfast. He sat there in silence. So Jodie Foster was the one talking about this situation. And she was like, I think he's a genius because basically what he was doing was he was making me comfortable with him. I was sat there. I tried to make conversation. He wouldn't respond. She just became comfortable at the thought of like being near Robert De Niro.
But he could at least tell her he's doing that. I mean, she's a little girl.
She's 12. She's 12, dude.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Someone's 12. You take a 12-year-old girl and you don't talk to them?
Yeah.
That's what he
pretty
did.
much.
That's what he did.
Exactly what you do.
That's what he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Isn't that fucking
kids,
weird?
different. You probably didn't give a shit.
That's weird. I don't.
It's super
that's
weird,
just
dude.
Weird.
John, are you going to let your kids go to Hollywood and try to be a prostitute in a fucking movie?
No.
It's
Apparently
terrible parenting.
they said that she had like they made sure a psychiatrist or psychologist talked to her. I don't know.
Yep, she had a psychiatrist every day. There are child labor laws. You can only work 30 minutes a day. That shot on the track where they dug the hole out of the ground, they had to shoot it in 2 takes because she was in the shot and she could only work 30 minutes a day. And they only had 1 day to shoot it.
Wow.
So there was a lot of like problems to be solved shooting scenes with her because child labor laws only let you shoot with a kid for 30 minutes a day.
Look, you can cuddle with her for 25 and you can shoot for 30. So that's all you got, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Harvey, hug her a little tighter. Do it, Harvey.
I told you I wanted to be the pimp. We know. You've got 5 minutes, dude.
That's an edit, John. When John makes a noise like that, that's a fucking edit.
No,
it's too far.
Tough subject. But yeah, it's okay. Sorry.
I do that all the time.
No worries.
So I would totally recommend looking up the behind the scenes stuff in this movie. The way they filmed the cab stuff, it was all inside the cab. They had platforms on the back and front of the cab. They'd film on platforms with like old school fucking film cameras sitting outside. They'd latch themselves down, but they looked like a wooden platform attached to like the cage of a cab, basically. Totally unfucking safe. It looked totally unsafe. Martin Scorsese's in this movie. Do you guys know that Martin Scorsese is also in this movie?
No.
He has one of the best scenes in this movie is Martin Scorsese talking.
No way.
What? You didn't recognize him?
No.
The scene where he gets Robert De Niro to pull on the side of the street and point his wife out and talk about how he's going to blow her fucking head off.
Oh, wait,
that's Martin
that's
Scorsese. That's Martin Scorsese.
I didn't quite understand the point of that scene either.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's just showing how miserable people are.
I guess so. And I didn't know that was Scorsese in that, though.
That's
I
Scorsese.
didn't even, wow.
And the only reason Martin Scorsese is in that scene is because the person who was originally cast to play that part got injured the day before the shoot. And Scorsese knows all the lines for all of his characters in every movie he ever does. So he's the only person that could shoot it that day.
Wow.
De Niro frightened both Sybil Shepherd and Jodie Foster with his character.
Was it because he just sat there and ate, staring forward and didn't talk?
He went method. So like he met with both of them beforehand and they did rehearsals and he was normal. When they started shooting, he was full method. Where like in between takes, he was disturbed and distant and crazy. You couldn't even like ask him about notes or whatever. Like you couldn't fucking talk to him. He was just an insane person the entire shoot of the movie. And it scared most people.
Everyone.
Mostly Sybil Shepherd and Jodie Foster.
It's hard to imagine that doesn't have an impact on you. I mean,
it's got to make a movie better, right? Whenever you read about this sort of shit, it's just like the movie's better because everyone was actually scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a pain in the ass to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster was in a bunch of movies before this, surprisingly. She was a child actor.
Wasn't she like Disney films or something, right?
I don't know. She was in like a serious drama film before this. They got a lot of acclaim. I forget what it's called. But
wow, if you look at Jodie Foster's career, holy cow, since 1969, she was doing television. Then she was like on The Magical World of Disney. She did a couple of Adam 12 on Gunsmoke, Bonanza. My Three Sons.
Dude, Jodie Foster is awesome. She was in the making of. She seems amazing. She seems really fucking smart. She's like totally aware of how fucked up the movie industry is, but she still loves it and is passionate about it. Like, it's a good combination. This is all special effects from here on out. Dick Smith, the special effects guy, worked on The Exorcist. He's one of the best special effects guys to ever live, and he worked on this movie. The shaved head mohawk was fake.
Really?
It was a fucking bald cap.
Wow.
Really?
You look good.
There's no question I thought he was bald. I thought he shaved his head.
And we would expect that from Robert.
Right.
Right. That's
but they didn't film the movie in sequence. So they had to do it
okay.
this way. I'm supposed to be watching a movie with other people. Sorry. I'm about to watch a Nicolas Cage movie with other people on a Zoom meeting right now.
You're watching movies with other people? You're cheating on us?
I am cheating on you guys. I'm sorry. Do you guys not know I was a movie whore? I thought that was implied in the...
No.
I thought that was,
Yeah.
No, I knew. Don't worry, I knew.
TC knew. TC knew it was an open relationship. Come on, John.
Yeah.
You've got skunk eyes, Denny.
He's a
Skunk
poly,
eyes.
John. Accept him for who he is.
Skunk eyes. You got the skunk eyes.
Got skunk balls over here. Come on.
The hand shot was the hardest shot to film because the guy had to engineer a fake hand that exploded with squibs while protecting the real guy's hand inside where the explosives were. All of the shots were explosives. There's no fancy way to do it. It's literally explosives with bags of blood, as unfancy as that sounds, on the other side, and then metal plate protecting the actual flesh of the person on the other side. So like the back of the head shot where he shoots him in the face, metal plate, explosive, bag of blood. That's it. And you put little bits of brain matter and shit in there too to make it look real when it sticks to the wall. This guy is a fucking artist, man. He was talking about it in like scientific ways where he's like, you got to make sure you don't hurt the person because their head's right there. Very sensitive place. You don't want any explosive to like hit him in the neck. Could like kill him, basically.
Wow.
Totally recommend the special features just for the special effects portion. He had a lot of stuff about fishing lines. All of the shots where there was like the shots in the face where they shot the guy in the face. There were just like a bunch of different fishing lines on bamboo sticks where they'd pull little pieces of fake flesh off the guy's face, exposing little buckets of blood inside makeup, inside the guy's face.
Oof.
And that was the same thing with the next shot. Did you guys imagine that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really. No.
So just imagine like you put a bunch of makeup on somebody and you're trying to conceal a little bag of blood, say on your neck where De Niro gets hit in the neck. You put a little bag of blood, you put a bunch of makeup on there so it doesn't look like there's a bag of blood attached to your neck. The opening is attached to a little piece of flesh-colored skin that's attached to a fishing line. And then when you rip the fishing line off, it makes it look like a cut, and then blood starts pouring out.
Oh, Jesus.
That's all I got. That's it.
Wow. I thought you'd have more.
Within the first 5 minutes of the episode, John, we started fucking talking about trivia.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And you looked up a lot. John, high five.
Hey.
You looked up a lot of trivia too there, bud.
Yeah.
Very good. Fun the both of yous.
Yeah. So we have a choice next week, guys. First of all, top 250, John, TC, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, easy, yes. Next week, we have a choice. We're going to skip Clockwork, or not skip. We're going to pause Clockwork Orange for a week and either watch the 2014 movie PK or 2016 movie Your Name. Your Name is a Japanese movie, animated. PK is a Amir Khan starring, not directed, Indian movie. They're both in the top 250 now. Which one do we want to watch?
Both. But which one first?
Which one do we want to watch first? Yeah.
PK?
Yeah. Want to watch PK first?
We do PK.
Yeah.
That's streaming on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix.
PK.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you can
PK.
watch PK right now.
So
Right.
Your Name, I don't know how I can find Your Name on YouTube, actually. I think.
We had to buy it on Amazon when we bought it.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not, we'll have to rent it maybe
That was like a
through
year ago. though.
iTunes.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay. So PK next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Timmy, what'd you think? Taxi driver?
Oh, who are you talking to right now? I don't understand. You talking to me? Or, Terrence, who are you trying to talk to? Because I only see me, Daddy. It's a good fucking movie, all right? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Later, dudes.
Later.
Top